Good evening. Welcome to this edition of the Evening Review. My name is Jemima Bierkes, your host for this evening. We have in studio Mr. Pendapala Nakathingo. He is from the Namibia Bus and Taxi Association. Thank you for joining us, Mr. Nakathingo.
Thank you, please.
So there's a new development. You have reached out to a local lawyer to get a legal opinion on the competition between you and your bus and taxis, and that of the Ubers like Yango and InDriver. Can you just tell us about your visit to the lawyer and what prompted this?
Well, thank you very much. And first and foremost, condolences to the Namibian people for the passing on of our president, Dr. Hage Geingob. And may his soul rest in peace. Coming back to the question, the competition not necessarily between NABTA as an association, but it's a concern that has been raised by the members in the industry, because remember, Namibia Bus and Taxi Association is a sectoral representative to safeguard the taxi industry in Namibia. Having said that, and observing the situation on the ground, whereby some conduct in terms of illegal activities, mushrooming of the taxis, and unlawful conduct. So we have come to a point where we really need to take this issue serious in order for us to protect the bus and taxi operators and the passengers as well. So that is what prompted us to at least get or elevate this particular situation to legal level.
One of the issues is the Yangos, the Ubers that are relatively cheaper than ordinary taxis. Can you just talk to us about the challenges it poses to ordinary taxis?
Well, this is not necessarily single-handedly outlining one particular company, but Yango is one of them. There are many. And what we have observed is that there are now these, these InDrive, Yangos. There is another. There are many, but what brought seriously to the attention of the organization, and that hindering the member, is that many of them are operating illegal. They offer their services to any individual that does not necessarily have the transportation permit as required by law. So therefore, especially now, Yango became one of the critical one in terms of the complaints, where we have also verified that Yango has let their services to be used by the people that does not have permits. Some of them are operating with bakkies. Some of them are operating with, other vehicles, private vehicles. So it is unfair for NABTA just to watch on, and even the government just to observe that particular situation without unattended. So as a responsible association, safeguarding the passenger transportation in Namibia, we find it necessary that this situation is now growing, large, whereby also criminal activities and criminals have seen an opportunity to enter the market and now robbing the passengers. Taxi drivers become victims. Students, always and every day being raped, threatened by.
Do you have any reports of people that have been raped?
We have many.
By whom? By which drivers? Taxi drivers? Or
in the name of taxi drivers, for sure, especially in the northern regions. There are a lot, even here, there are a lot of complaints or cases reported where the students being raped by the taxi drivers. Not just students, even the minor, children from school. So therefore, really, the situation is getting critical and is going out of hand. So therefore, NABTA cannot just watch on and without doing anything. So, and we are doing this in the best interest of the government, the public, and the bus and taxi operators as well.
From what I understand, the biggest problem here is your concern, and that of your members is that of the legality of some of the people that are used by Yango and other Uber services.
Yes.
And yet at the same time you mentioned that there are some taxi drivers that rape and I mean kill. We have incidents where people have been killed. So why is the killing and raping not such a big issue for you? Why haven't you, I mean, this has happened long before Uber and InDriver has come onto the scene. Why haven't you gone to a lawyer? Why have you not reported or gotten government in to help with this issue?
We've been, it's a serious issue to us. We've been, attending to it. We've been engaging also with relevant authorities.
How have you been attending to it?
We've been, as I'm telling you now, the way we have been attending to it, we go hand in hand with the police to make sure that criminals are rooted out. We make sure that we talk to the parents. We make sure that we talk to the teachers, and we talk to the learners themselves. We caution and we make sure that those who are now operating illegally, because most of the cases, those who are now doing those criminal activities are those who are now falsifying either the number plates or the big numbers and so forth. So coming back to the question of Yangos and all that, not everything that has been that Yango introduced are really bad or not good to the industry. So the technology, we are supporting this new development. You know, we appreciate what the younger ones are introducing in the industry, especially when it comes to the technologies. You know, you hire the ride through, through the app. It's a very good move. But what hinders the industry is that it has been issued to individuals that does not have required documents, such as transportation permit. So therefore now it's become a threat to those who are now operating legally, those who have acquired transportation permit. So what we are saying is that in order for us to safeguard the industry, we need to follow the procedures. We need to do it in accordance with the law. Mm-hmm. So therefore, the issue of illegality came in, and now the criminal activities see to it, criminals see to it that there is a loophole. Now they also penetrated in. So, but what we are saying is that we want to safeguard the industry. We want to make sure that we protect the business interest of the bus and taxi operators, and also for those younger Namibians that are now entering the market, in order for them not to operate in an illegal market. So they need to be their business need to be protected.
So, Mr. Nakathindo, if these drivers that are being contracted by operators like Yango, InDriver, and the others are operating illegally, why is it that the traffic has not intervened? Are you working with the traffic, because they should enforce the law?
For sure. This is not just an issue of the traffic or Ministry of Works and Transport or NABTA. It's a collective effort.
Yes.
So we are now doing our part, because we have observed that. On one hand, I can tell you that that's why you see the Ministry of Works and Transport, they are so working very hard to make sure that policies and regulations are in place to safeguard the entire public transport. But not only that, in the absence or while the government is doing its effort, we as a custodian, or we as NABTA entrusted with passenger transportation and movement in Namibia, observed this particular situation. We now have to engage law enforcement. We have to engage our government so that we can bring it to their attention to say there are these activities happening and it cannot continue like that. So we need to protect our country. Remember, some of these individuals that are operating under these particular services, they are foreigners. And some of the foreigners are criminals that fled away from their countries. Now they are now mushrooming within our transport sector here, and are now promoting their criminal minds I'm not accusing any individual.
But
I'm
have you,
saying
how did you establish that, and what proof do you have?
I do have a proof because we are not operating in the industry.
Yes.
There are many that are driving taxis, some at some points including Chinese. How can you allow such a thing to happen in a peaceful country like Namibia?
And you have, how do you know that these are foreigners?
I can tell you, I'm a Secretary General of the
Yes.
Namibia Bus and Taxi Association,
Yes.
in charge of the Public Transport Association, in administration. So I am engaging with members entirely across the country. Not only our members in the industry, also some stakeholders where we share, information at all levels.
Yes.
That's why I know exactly what I'm talking about as a Secretary General. So that particular conduct is now where we want to make sure that we bring the transport sector in a very good order. We want now also to accommodate this new technology intervention, which is now also now soothing the operation. Remember, it have got safety and security to the passengers. This particular services that is being offered by Yango, in-drivers, others, but they need to be protected. They need to be properly safeguarded.
Mr. Nakathingo, I just want to know, you've just said you are the Secretary General of NABTA, and by virtue of your position, you have access to people with this kind of information. Does this include police? Does this include traffic officers?
For sure, look.
Then if that includes police and traffic officers, and you claim that these are foreigners, that are criminals, that have fled from their countries, why are these people not arrested?
I can tell you the police are working hard, day and night. And many of them have been arrested. But remember, some arrests can take place now, and tomorrow some others are coming in. But these are things that these are operations that need to be done day by day. And the police cannot just get that information if we are not collaborating. So, therefore, we are working hand in hand always with the police. Those information, we bring it to the attention of the police once we detect them, once we observe them. So, and therefore, at this particular moment, we want to do our part. And we want to make sure that the taxi industry becomes safer, efficient, and reliable. So whereby now, while the government is trying on their side, as I said earlier, so from our side, we have to do our part. But what I'm saying is this unfair competition and this illegal conduct in a form of this new intervention or new technologies that have been introduced, we cannot allow that to grow. We need to attend to it while at the beginning. At some point, like last year, we have engaged with Yango management, whereby we have a very good communication. We have established a very good relationship. Myself, I have also raised this concern with them that we appreciate, their efforts or their coming in. We welcome them, but this issue of issuing their services to an illegal individuals, that is not appreciated. And we really need to attend to it. And at that particular moment, we said they need to do away with it so that they can deal with those legitimate taxis with a transportation permit. So that is the area where we need to address. So it brings us back to any other operators that are operating within the taxi industry. They need to operate with relevant documentation as required by law. That is our area that we want to address. So, therefore, now when we seek for the legal opinion, it's exactly in that particular area, because once we, once the taxi industry being operated in accordance with the law, we are not going to have a complaint when it comes to the loading zones where passengers' luggages being grabbed. They used to be forcefully loaded in taxis or in buses. We are not going to have that situation. Therefore,
and that has nothing to do with Yango.
No, it has, because what we are saying is that it does not make any difference. So Yango operating, illegally, so by offering their services to unregistered taxis or private cars, so it is equally the same as those who are now causing chaos there, because at the end of the day, the legal taxis that have got permits, they are no longer making money, and they will end up doing unnecessary things because of this particular threat.
So sometimes these taxis are fighting with even passengers, grabbing your bag when you're on your way to find a taxi. How are you addressing that as NABTA?
For sure, as I said, anything have got to start from somewhere. The situation such as the one you explained just now, for the taxi drivers fighting with the passengers or fighting over passengers, that comes as a result of unfair competition or a threat. Let me just give you one example to say, there are, apart from Yango now, there are also some drivers or operators that are operating illegally, that they don't have any documentation, not even an operator card, let alone the taxi transportation permit, so nothing. But they are entering the taxi rank where these legitimate taxis are operating, and now they are starting now taking away customers that are supposed to get into these legitimate taxis. How one now can just standing there and watching on while others are taking up their bread? So that is what leads to that fighting over the passengers. So, and we don't want that. We want the taxi industry, as I said, to be safe, and we want the law to take its course. So we want everybody to operate in the taxi industry, to conduct themselves in terms of the law. Mm-hmm. They must apply their transportation permit. We appreciate now the Roads Authority, whereby they bring in this new transport system. Weapon? Yeah, for sure.
The mess.
There are new interventions that was introduced also by the Roads Authority, but particularly I want to appreciate the taxi, the transportation permit issuance, whereby now it's become a renewal, and also now to be acquired, across the country, not just to be centered in Windhoek. Mm-hmm. So that is a good move that we appreciate. So, which is going now to make it easier for the taxi drivers or bus operators to acquire transportation permit easily. But we really want to caution those who are now operating illegally to see to it that it is unlawful. And once we get to the bottom of this particular issue in terms of the law, we are going to take action. Whoever is going to be found, not doing their role, mm-hmm. and those who are now trying to interfere with the transportation services illegally, mm-hmm. they are going to be dealt with accordingly.
Mr. Nak, I think another issue that is also a threat to the buses services is the issue of seven-seaters. Mm-hmm. How are you dealing with that?
Well, the issue of the seven-seaters at this particular moment is supposed not to be an issue, but as I said, the issuance of the public transportation permit and the legality of the seven-seaters in terms of operation. Remember, the seven-seaters is regarded as a sedan. Sedan cars are not allowed to transport passengers in a long distance. So that is why at this particular moment, we are working hard to make sure that the seven-seaters are also attended to. We want to accommodate the seven-seaters because they are part and parcel of the Namibian house now. As the market grows, you should be ready of any new development that is coming in. So therefore now the seven-seaters need now to be allocated at their appropriate distance level, mm-hmm. such as within the town or in the immediate, the closest town, such as now 60 kilometer radius. Mm-hmm. So that is where the seven-seaters need to be fit in. So not on a long distance. You remember even now during the festive season, we didn't record many accidents, but the first accident we recorded is a seven-seater. So between Otavi to Meb there. So it is not safe for the long distance. So, but it is a reliable public transport services at this particular moment, whereby most of the passengers currently, they prefer seven-seaters when it comes to that particular movement. But it is not safe for the long distance. So we are attending to it, and I hope by virtue of looking to it allocating them in an appropriate route, such as within the town boundaries and within the 60-kilometer or 100-kilometer radius, that will do. So, and I think it will solve the problem. We have been discussing this with our relevant ministries, such as Minister of Works and Transport, and other stakeholders also involved, because it's become a critical issue, an issue of concern, especially now on the long distance. One aspect that I can mention to become a threat on a long distance. Remember, the bus operators, the reason why they complain much of the seven-seaters. The bus operators, they've got something that they pay extra. We call it the MDC, mass distance charges. So it is under RFA, Roads Fund Administration. That logbook, it's killing the public transport, bus operators. Because it charges per kilometer. The moment the bus is moving, the kilometers are moving. So that is the charges. Now these seven-seaters never pay for such mass distance charges, but they are always taking up the passengers for the long distance. Now, at the end of the day, the buses, they have to pay the MDC charges, of which sometimes they are now just driving from Windhoek to Katima, Windhoek to Oshakati, Oshakati to Oraniemund, that whole long distance with only half of the number of passengers, because some passengers were taken away by seven-seaters. Again, on that note, let alone the festive season. During the festive season, it's where now at least they have to make a little bit of money, but yet there is a challenge where you got one full trip, so say for instance, from Lideritz to Oshakati. So the whole 1,000 kilometers or 1,200 kilometers, you have now a full load when you go. You are now challenged on your way back. You drive empty. And those whole 1,200 kilometers you have to pay the MDC, and you don't make any money. So that's why I'm saying it's very challenging. The transport industry is very challenging. It's acquire a total understanding. That's why at some point NABTA we have requested, and we are continuing engaging our government at least to consider providing the subsidy to the public transport operators. It is very necessary. Remember, even we just get out of COVID-19, where the industry have suffered a lot. The tire services, the services of the whole vehicle, the vehicle must be roadworthy, especially even now, there is this new machine introduced, which is now a mobile testing. That mobile testing, it's killing our members. I can tell you, you take your bus to the NATES for testing. It passed the testing. You renew your license. Then you got passengers that are going to Sossusvlei, right? Remember Sossusvlei, when you get out there, it's a gravel road. From the gravel road, on your way to Keetmans, there is the machine on the road, going to the test. It will fail completely the test because the gravel road have to take away the fitness of the car. So that is why I'm saying it requires a total and thorough understanding operating the bus and taxi in Namibia. It is not just a joke, really.
Thank you very much for joining us, Mr. Kathino.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for tuning in. Until next time.